Right. Hi guys. I've had a few people sort of well, I hear these people being afraid of playing high notes, right, with the whistle. Now, I'm not a whistle expert. I've only been playing for a year, so don't take my word as gospel, but I have obviously noticed I've made my own observations even as a beginner, and I thought, you know, I get very distracted by very simple things, right? For instance, when I have a tunable whistle, if the alignment isn't spot on so that I feel the flipple is straight with, my fingers, I get irritated. It takes my mind away from what I'm trying to play, right? So it's tiny little things. Or if I change the tuning on a large whistle and suddenly the distance between my mouthpiece and my fingers changes, that throws me for a few minutes, right? So I think an instrument that is actually struggling in the higher octaves throws me completely sometimes, So I have found that there are certain whistles that are actually easier to hit the high notes with. And I just want to share a few of my observations, right? So I have actually been very lucky. I managed to get an MK Pro Low D for a price that I couldn't resist. And I find it quite a hard whistle to play, I have to say. It's quite heavy. It sounds beautiful once it's nicely warmed up, and obviously I've not had it that long, so, and again, I'm a beginner, but I think as a beginner it's actually a professional instrument, and you need to probably grow into it. So I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling with the weight. I do reach the higher notes fairly easy, but they don't sound very good to my ear. I can do much better with other whistles, is what I'm trying to say. What else have I noticed? Well, I tell you what, I found this tune here, Captain O'Kane, that came up in the group, and it's got a few really high notes in the second passage. So I'm just going to show you what happens when I play these high notes with different low whistles, and I'll tell you exactly what my struggle is as well. Like with this, for instance, it takes a lot of air as well, so I do struggle with my air with it as well a little bit. You have to be bold, you have to really, like, take a deep breath. Now I'm just learning this tune, so I might make mistakes. I'm nervous whenever I try and play in front of people, but I'm going to try and do my best to show you how these whistles perform for me as a beginner. I'm following Scott's low whistle journey, by the way, and he does great things for people who just start on the whistle and helps us all grow together. So I thought I'd share my experiences of how I find I go with these whistles, right? I just warm this thing up, right? So don't look for professionalism or good playing here, right? I'm just trying to bring across this point, right? See, that's where I struggle, because my hands were off, obviously, on that note, and the whistle drops. Okay, so I'll try to do that again. I'm making lots of mistakes. So I noticed I had to put my finger down there on that high note so that the whistle wouldn't drop, right? You start learning these sort of tricks as you go along. So this was the MK, so you hear what that sounds like. Best as I can play it. I've only had it a day, right? And I'm going to go on to the carry low D, which I absolutely adore and love playing. It plays very easily. The finger spacing is actually almost the same as on this one. So if I just show you, just for comparison. So it's literally identical spacing, but for some reason, I think it's because this whistle is lighter, I find it easier to play. It also has different amounts of back pressure. You'll hear in a minute and you'll see me play that whistle compared to the MK, right? And I just want to give you an impression of how I play with these different instruments, right? The experience that I make. So this doesn't need a lot of warming up either. Find it really easy to play, fast tracks as well. And yeah, I'm making mistakes because I'm nervous, because I hate seeing myself here like this. But anyway, I'm just trying to give you an impression here, okay, of how these whistles handle. It's a lot lighter. I love the back pressure on it. I like the sound. It's easy to reach those higher notes. You can get further with your breath, so you don't have to intake quite as much air. And it plays almost from cold really well. So I love this whistle, I really do. And I get the Howard out now next. So I'll probably mess this up completely. Now the Howard is a very thin whistle. I love the Howard. It's probably not going to make it for me now. Like, it takes a lot of practice for me. It wants a lot of warming up. This whistle really likes to be warm. This version of it is quite slippy as well. I've got the black one as well, which is not as slippy, so I've put myself a little duct tape on here. Let's see how this goes, right? I promise nothing. I'll show you the whole spacing in a minute as well. Yeah, I'll mess things up because this makes me really nervous. But anyway, the Howard, really sweet tone. I find you can actually do, you know, it picks up the vibrato coming from your chest as well really nicely. So I have arthritic fingers, so I have difficulties, you know, doing the finger wafting, especially with my left hand. I can barely do it at all with my left hand. My right hand is not too bad, but so I rely a little bit on whistles that where you can really bring the vibrato from your breath, which the Howard is absolutely beautiful for. You can really, you know, do waft your breath through the whistle, and I believe it's because of that very, very thin metal that it has. So compared to, here's the carry, you see, it's a narrower bore, but it's thicker metal. And then the MK Pro, narrow bore, a lot heavier. Haven't really tested. I think this is good. This picks up really well. It's very, very sensitive to that. I haven't really tried the vibrato coming from the chest as much yet. I'll show you the Howard Low C. So here's another thing that I don't know whether I have a 41 or what is going on, but I got this whistle here with the new balanced head, and I swapped that over to the C. So I basically play with the old head from Howard, because I don't like what comes out of that head at all. It's got this nasty grizzly sound, whereas with the old head you can achieve these really fine high notes, and you just I don't get that with that. I don't know whether there's a faulty head or what is going on, but I'm not using that new balanced head at all. I haven't played with this for a while. The spacing is obviously slightly more difficult to reach than on the low D. See, it reacts to what comes out of my belly, right? I just swing into a note and hold it for a minute. And now it's breaking completely. I can bring the vibrato out in that whistle really nicely. Just so I demonstrate this, what I've managed to, you know, acquire from playing these different whistles. Right, just before I go into the the Nightingale B that I have, E, low E, I show you the spacing, the Howard and the carry low D, right? So we have different hole sizing, but the spacing is kind of very similar. See that? The that's the carry is, I think, slightly further apart in the higher, but the lower finger spacing is almost the same, right? So this is the Alexander Karavev low EB whistle. Love the sound of this whistle. It's fairly easy to play. You need a lot of breath. You gotta be bold for this whistle to sound right. I'll show you this finger spacing in a minute as well, and the ball size. Sounds really, really nice. maintain, and you need a lot of breath. Sounds beautiful, not hard to reach the high octaves, but you have to have the lung capacity. You need to think about where you're breathing and how you're phrasing the playing with this whistle, right? Because the air rushes through the, it's just different. There's not the same amount of back pressure in there. You can also have that belly vibrato with this whistle, and I'll just show you again the comparison, finger spacing. This is the Howard low B compared to the Nightingale. There we go. Right. Okay. So actually, it's further apart than the low D here, right? Now the Tony Dixon low D polymer. That was my first low D. Well, no, my second low D whistle, but the first one was a Carrie Chieftain V5. And with that, again, I found it was too loud for me. Beautiful whistle, easy to play, but too loud. I needed something a bit quieter. So then I went over to try this one. And this is really easy for practicing. It's a very lightweight whistle. Easy to hit the higher notes as well. So I just go make my next mistake wrong. Don't mind that. This is really not easy for me. Was that one. Right, carry up to my low F. Absolutely love this whistle. Sounds absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. It's a sort of kind of in-betweeny thing. Easy to play. The hand spacing here on that low F is actually, I've got a G whistle by Alexander Karavev, and the spacing is actually further away on the bottom for the G whistle than is on the Carrie F here. So this is really easy to play. It's a lovely thing. And I'd have to sit with the tune for a bit longer. It also wants to be warmer. This whistle starts playing a lot better once it's properly warmed up. Now I've already blown it into it a few times. Once you start playing it and playing it and playing it, when this goes warm, it will reach those higher notes much more cleanly. So that's just down to the whistle being cold, right? Right, this is a Carry low F Buska. It's sharper than the Optima. The Optima sounds softer. This is easier to blow. You need less air, but the sound is a lot more crisp, so you don't have that sort of softness that you have with the Optima, right, with the plastic whistle head. And this is what this one sounds like, and it sounds better. It's not that warm, right? I've blown it. It should be warmer, so it would sound, the tone improves on it, right? Plus I'm a plonker when I'm playing like this. It's really nice to play. It sounds beautiful, and it's easy to hit the higher notes with. Crisper sound, different type of whistle, right? And compared to the low D, and that's the Howard, right? Right, this is my trouble child. Oh God, I've been through a saga with this one. This is the E Volga low F. When she goes, she sounds really beautiful, but there's so much wrong with this particular one, I can't even begin to tell you. So the moisture buildup in that thing was an absolute disaster. I managed to fix that with this thing. That is Merck Anti-Condensed Detergentium, against, you know, the moisture in wooden whistles in particular. This thing came, I had to put that round because it just fell apart, right? So this was what made it airtight for me. So that was a bit of a nightmare. Straight away, I had to oil it an awful lot before a lot of the problems have been shifted, and still not quite right. So anyway, this is how it sounds. And then my computer stopped working. the, the notes just disappeared. I mean, this sounds really nice when it plays nicely. So especially the low notes, it can sound really nice, and it needs another oiling, which will make the sound rounder again. But like I said, I've had nightmare with this, and I'm not the only one, because I had several comments underneath several whistles about this where the same thing has happened. So that's my low whistles. So I thought, you know, maybe this helps somebody out there making up their mind what they want, what they like the sound of, or you know, don't be frightened of high notes. You just gotta give it some, right? Stick with it, don't give up. And often it's the whistle that is actually working against you, so certain whistles aren't particularly good for the high octaves. I mean, like the carry F busker finds it a lot easier than the carry the Optima. The Optima needs warming up a lot more. Same for the Howard. The more you warm the Howard up, the more she really becomes resonant. So yeah, I hope this is helping somebody out there, because I found these whistle reviews very helpful for myself to make up my mind. If you find this helpful, I'll go through my mezzo ones as well, and through the other octaves that other whistle keys that I have. I gotta tell you, in all of these keys and all of these different whistles, I realized that what I like to have is one aluminium one and one brass one, because the sounds are very different. Also, the Delrin whistles feel different. They have a different sound to the aluminium ones, and I would really like to have both. Now, in all of my whistle journey now, I've got to say, this little, this is a Chieftain Thunderbird A whistle from 2004. I love this little thing. I got it second hand, and I really enjoy playing this thing. Has beautiful tones all the way through. Plays from cold, soft, mellow tone. Not as crisp as the new Busker models. I have the Busker B as well. In comparison, the I think he's changed the Fipple length between the Busker and the old Chieftain. I really like the old Chieftain, very, very old ones. They sound very mellow. Lots of fun to play with this thing, because it doesn't let you down, you know. You can concentrate on playing, and you don't constantly get thrown off by squeaky sounds or something not being right. It's really off-putting when that happens to a beginner. You know, you're trying to get up there and your whistle squeaks. I know it's a lot to do with because you're a beginner, but you know, if a whistle finds it easy to go up there, then surely that's helpful, right? So that's why I'm making this video. And if you like me to do one for the mezzo range, I'll do that too. I'll probably do it anyway. So anyway, let me know what you think.